All right, and hello everyone. Welcome to the Senpai Kouhai Podcast. Uh,
Top notch.
yeah, however you say those words, was originally the Country Fried Otaku podcast. I cannot speak tonight, man. It's rough out here for a pimp. But I am Trey. I'm joined by Steven, as always. Steven, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Man, I am not too shabby. I'm joined by my kitten, brand new kitten. She's just enjoying life too. She's probably the light of the world at the moment, but she's I don't know what she's doing honestly, but I'm good.
Well,
um,
you did have a partner in crime while you're trying to cook dinner with that cat. You posted a picture of it, and it's adorable.
she wouldn't get off my shoulder. She wouldn't get her claws out of me, and so I just let her perch up there like a parrot. And so I tried to make sure nothing from her fell off. And really, I was more concerned about her falling into the saucepan. And I ended up just cooking her. And that was just the concern.
I'm sure that's not how that's supposed to go for dinner.
No, no, not in this country. And so I just tried to make sure that that didn't happen. And sure enough, she's fine. She's good. Eventually, though, she ended up crawling down my back. And so I had to kind of bend myself at like a 90-degree angle to where she wouldn't fall off. But we're safe. All's good. I probably have pricks down my back from
Who
her.
knew you were such a big softy, Trey?
I'm known as lover of many, but father of all. And
Oh
all
my
you,
that hurt to get through. Oh Lord.
it's not a known title to many, but just the more that know, the better. But
Well, I'm glad that I know a few more of your titles.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
so,
Apart from my PlayStation handle, those are some of my other titles.
like everybody in the Discord refers to you as Trey Sama. So.
That's a good one too. It's my common street name, Trey Sama.
All right, so Trey Sama, what have you been playing lately? Have you been playing anything lately?
I have actually. I started Scarlet Nexus, the newest game from Bandai Namco, produced and developed by them. I was super
Nice.
excited for this. This one has been on my radar for, I want to say, a year or two now, ever since they announced it at an E3, I think, uh, a year or two ago, whenever they did it. Just super anime game. That's really just a good way
I
to
love
describe
those
it.
things.
Just
So
believe it or not, I don't know what the fuck we talk about here, but I like anime and I like anime games. And this one's just right up the alley. It plays a lot like not Dark Souls, Devil May Cry,
oh
and
wow.
it just feels nice. I just finished the first chapter last night, and you play through two different stories. And this is from the actual page itself. It says you play as the good boy or the cool girl, and so I'm playing the good boy first, and then I'll get to the cool girl next on my second playthrough. And they're two different sides of a story you play through and see how the whole story turns out. I'm
Oh,
excited
that's
for
kind of
that.
cool.
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm digging the way this sounds. Maybe you should stream it or something so I can see what the game plays like.
I should. I'd be really excited to do that. I think I've been its biggest advocator because everyone else is preoccupied with the bigger games that come out that you know do deserve more light. Because
Yeah.
I think Daryl said this is generic anime game 632, and he's not wrong. He's
I
not wrong.
mean, yeah, but that's okay. See, we love those things. That's why there's 4 One Piece Pirate Warriors. That's why there's multiple Dynasty Warriors. I know that's all the Warrior series, but I can think of some other ones. As a matter of fact, an aside for anybody who likes anime games, on the Steam Summer Sale, Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash is on sale for $11.99. That's right, everybody. You too can enjoy the sensuous summer experience of Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash.
Hang on, I can't remember the exact wording, but I think if you join the Busham Warriors, I think it's such a good description. God, that's such a fun game. Apart from that, the more people that buy those games, the more likely we are to get the next Senran Kagura if they just do it. They just do it.
Absolutely.
So I'm also playing Seventh Dragon 3 Code VFD on my DS, and that one's pretty cool. I just cleared my first dungeon on that, and it's really easy, pick up, put down kind of dungeon fighting. Um,
Hmm.
that's really it. Just some simple games for me. What are you playing, Steven?
Well, you probably already know this because you've had to watch me and the guys do this for like the last like week and a half, 2 weeks. We've been playing Guilty Gear Strive. An
Yeah,
enormous amount of Guilty Gear Strive, and I love the game so far. It is freaking beautiful. It's a lot of fun to play. It's got a simplified system compared to some of the earlier entries, so it's definitely beginner friendly. But there's a lot of nuance to it that makes it still like if you're playing somebody who's a pro, then you're going to get your ass whooped. So I think it's a really fun game. The net code on it is a lot better than any of the other ones. So when you play online, it's a lot smoother. It's not like with like Revelator. Like you and I tried to play online that one time, we just couldn't connect.
no,
Even
it
though,
was horrible.
yeah, everything was fine. But this netcode they have really makes it so you can connect with most people. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. I mean, there's a little bit of slowdown when I host just because my internet is kind of crappy sometimes, mostly late at night. But it's been a lot of fun, and it's been fun to get the guys in the voice chat and talking shit while we fight each other. And when you came to visit, you even got to give it a go. Sorry, I put you on the ground so fast with Giovanna.
It's okay. It was new for me, but I know my fighting games, and I know where I'm going to lay you down at. So don't worry.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got the big tournament coming up. The other things I've picked up recently, I picked up a Mario Golf Super Rush. I think. I picked it up like a day ago, so I've only played a little bit. Hold on, I have it right here.
hmm
I got it right. It is Mario Golf Super Rush, and I really love the Mario sports games, and I like golf. This is a lesser known thing about me, which gives me another chance to do a shout out for Golf Story on the Switch. That game is fucking amazing. 2D golf, goofy RPG style story. I can't recommend that game enough. But I've had a little bit of fun with that. It's definitely something I just started, so early impressions are good, and we'll see how that continues to go as I try more modes and things of that nature. Past that, I'm still working on Persona 5 Royal, and I'm not really going to go into the details because I'll probably still be working on it next time we record an episode. But it's there. It's in the rotation. It's mostly been fighting games primarily because I just haven't had a lot of time to game in general lately.
Yeah.
So, but that's fine. I've actually done a lot more manga reading and anime watching lately. So because I got to wrap up a couple series from this season, and so I'm just gonna transition right into the anime.
Before you do,
Oh,
we have a segment to do.
Oh, we have a segment
where
Uh-oh.
you match the anime OPs.
Oh, we're doing this again. All right. Oh boy.
We'll probably do this one more time after this, and then I'll find something else for you. But
I'm gonna start sucking at it. That's what's gonna happen.
I think this one's going to be easier. I think.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to start off pretty light. And so for those uninitiated, what this is I'm going to give Steven here the name and the band of an anime opening, and he's going to guess what show it's going to go to. And these are going to be easy ones. So the first one is going to be Tank by the Seatbelts.
Oh God, that's Cowboy Bebop, man.
There we go. We're starting off easy.
That is super easy. Like you're gonna hit lowball it at me, and then you're gonna go just across the plate fastball.
Absolutely. That's what's gonna happen. The next one is the Pokemon theme by Jason Page.
What from Pokemon? Oh man, God. Is that the Poke Rap or is that the Gotta Catch 'Em All?
Ooh, I didn't clarify that. I feel like the Poke Rap is different because I think the Digi Rap is also a separate song.
I'm certain it is as well. But I'm glad I guessed the show when the show's in the name. So
well, you're wrong.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Fantastic. Was I supposed to guess which specific Pokemon?
No, I'm messing with you. You're good. So the next one, The Hero by Jam Project.
Oh God, The Hero by Jam Project.
I'll give some hints. This one centers around one man with a Kouhai who really looks up to him, wants to learn everything he can from him, but this man is so lackadaisical in most of his activities that he doesn't really grasp why he's looked up to so fondly.
Sounds like my life story.
Oh.
I'm actually at a loss on this one.
This is One Punch Man, the hero.
Really? That was Jam Project?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
That one, I remember downloading that one because that one went hard. So next one is, I don't know if you've actually seen this show because I don't think we've talked about it. Unravel by TK. This is a show about a guy who sort of gets infected by a disease and has to start eating humans to sustain himself in the world. But
is it Tokyo Ghoul?
Damn, you got it. Yeah, Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, I am just not as big of a fan of Tokyo Ghoul as some people are.
Same.
Like, I mean, it should be. It should be something I'm interested in. Like, it's dark. It's got a little bit of horror and violence in it, and there's apparently like some ghoul battles and things like that. But I remember watching several episodes and just being like, I don't care. Also, I hated the main character, so that didn't help.
Yeah, I liked the first season, and the second season completely lost me. I didn't understand the character developments going on there or what was going on story-wise. The final one, Battle Cry by Nujabes. Or Nujabes? I think it's Nujabes.
I don't know.
So this one is about a girl who recruits 2 bodyguards to travel with her across the land of Edo, Japan.
Is that Samurai Champloo?
It is. It
is. That's a great show. Wow, I haven't heard the opening for that in a long time, which is really sad because I think I actually own the soundtrack. So.
Oh, do you have the vinyl?
I don't have the vinyl, unfortunately. This is a CD. I got it a while back. I really should chase down a vinyl of it. I'm pretty sure it's out there. There's a lot more anime vinyl out there, because I got Evangelion, I got Cowboy Bebop, and the Monogatari series, and FLCL. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. That's it. That wraps up our anime opening.
I think I got like a 75, maybe like a 60 percent on that. Like if it was an American grading system, I failed.
You know what? D's get degrees, and you know what? I'll let you go through.
That's a great. D's get degrees. I've never heard that before, and it is fantastic.
Sometimes that's how you got to get through. You gotta look at the bright side or the low side. You got to find what's gonna. You got to find what's gonna get it. I'll go ahead and segue into the animes. So for me, I dropped Inspector. I don't remember if we covered that last time.
We did cover that.
Okay, but yeah, I'm officially done with it. I'm not getting anything out of it that I'm enjoying.
It happens.
I started Sunday Without God I've started 2 animes, but Sunday Without God is one that I've started. It's a blast. It's a neat premise. It's not a blast, really. It's just an intriguing anime where God has abandoned Earth because heaven is full. And so he has left these people in charge of bringing people to death so that they can be sorted, as far as I've understood. And these people are called grave diggers. And this little girl has taken on being a grave digger, and she has to bring these people to the afterlife and dig graves. And this has included her parents, that one of which she just recently met, and it was so rough. It was sad. And then she found out her whole village was just dead, and then she had to bury everyone there. And I was like, golly, this is intense.
That's some dark stuff, man.
Yeah, I liked it. And I was like, I haven't felt this like emotional about something in a while with an anime. So I was glad to see that.
Bleak was the word I was looking for.
Bleak, that's a good way to put it. The next one I just started today, actually, because I was looking for something a bit more on the up. And I don't think it's really the kitten that got me there, but it's called If It's For My Daughter, I'd Even Defeat a Demon Lord.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. What does that mean?
Nothing. You should watch it.
Oh, no.
Don't read the manga or the light novel, though.
Oh, is it bad?
Let's see if you get this reference. It becomes it has a little bit of a bunny drop thing going on.
A bunny drop?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what that means.
Good. Just keep going. It's fun. It's lighthearted. Like the anime season should be the majority of it. Everything's okay. So stick with that.
Oh God. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if I haven't dropped it by next time.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to see your reactions as you go through that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I couldn't keep the "oh boy" from popping out of my mouth. So.
Oh no. Oh, that's all I'm watching as of now. I'm still going through Billy and Mandy in my spare. I don't know what else to watch times. One thing though, while I was watching Sunday Without God, the opening came on, and Nolan, my son, he took a couple steps to it, and I thought that was pretty exciting because he hasn't started walking yet. But the opening came on, the guitar started going, and he turned his head and like took a couple steps, and it was an exciting moment. And I was like,
That's awesome.
If that's what it's going to take to get you to walk, we're gonna get there. We'll do.
Your baby's gonna walk to anime soundtracks.
He started dancing to Mongolian Chop Squad, so
that's right. You sent me the video. I remember that. Yeah.
He's already mostly weeb. He's not far.
You trained him from literal birth at this point. So.
But what are you watching, Steven?
Okay. As always, I'm watching a lot, but I wrapped up a few things. Just today, as a matter of fact, I wrapped up Please Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro-san.
Oh, it's done?
Yeah, the 12th episode just got released, and it wrapped up right, like, the first major plot point of the storyline. Like, most of it's, like, kind of vignette, like, little short chapters of, like, this is a scenario that happened, and I told you last time, it's a rough start to the series, but it actually becomes really cute. Mm-hmm. And they wrap it up by introducing the original president of the art club, and there's like a challenge. There's an actual plot, and it's cute. And they wrapped up the show at just the right time. But man, and I rate it pretty high because I still love the series. I definitely think there's a little more. I still like the manga better. The art is just a little bit better. But I did notice. I finally figured out what is so appealing about some of the scenes in the anime, and that is the eyes and the face. Just the detail in the eyes and like what kind of how they sell the characters is very obvious. And then the opening song is fantastic, along with the animation that goes with it. It's like it's the animated characters, but they have all these like other colorful drawings that go over it. That like if they drew like evil teeth or devil horns, like somebody was scribbling over a picture of you throughout the whole thing. It's really nifty. I definitely have to post a link to it because it's a cool song, and I like the art for it. It's kind of one of those ones that along with Jujutsu Kaisen, I mess up that name all the time, and I shouldn't.
I think you got it.
Yeah, the closing song on that one is a real banger too. So I kind of put them in that same kind of fun, like colorful art, good song. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, that one's a really good one. I'd recommend it. It's 12 episodes, a lot of fun outside of some tense first 15 minutes, and then overall a good experience. And then what else did I finish recently? Well, I'm still watching Welcome to Demon School Iruma Season 2. The first core is kind of wrapping up, and the episodes are still coming out as the summer season kicks in. So it's great episodes. I think I've posted a few screenshots of funny things in the Discord that I like to share with everybody. And then we get to the thing that I was really, really not wanting to talk about, but I'm going to talk about. So every once in a while, I watch like a romance show, and so I've seen some good ones, I've seen some middle of the road ones, and I've seen some stinkers. And so good one in my book is like Suedure Children. That's such a great romance show, good comedy, good romance. Middle of the ground recently was Horimiya, which I was just like, it wants to be Suedure Children, but rushes everything. So yeah, I found the trash of the season, and that is Koi Kimo. And this is a romance story, kinda. I guess I'm going to spoil the shit out of this, so if anybody actually wants to watch the show, don't listen. And it's going to be a basic spoiler, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, main guy, 27-year-old womanizer, like really attractive kind of guy. He's in a subway station about to fall down the stairs. He's about to eat it hardcore, probably going to die. And this high school girl saves him. And so in return for saving his life, he offers himself up physically to the girl, and she calls him creepy. And he, for some reason, instantly falls in love with her because she turned him down and begins to basically stalk her. Like, gets her phone number and calls her, sends her gifts all the time, and she continues to call him creepy and things like that. And he seems to get off on it to a certain degree, like a very masochistic response. And some of it's played up for laughs. And like in the first episode or two, like, okay, that's kind of funny, it's awkward. But that goes on for the whole series. And he even gets around to intimidating like a high school boy who seems to have an interest in the girl too. Because his little sister goes to high school with the girl he's in love with. So we already have the age gap thing. We have the stalker vibes.
Yeah.
Not like funny stalker vibes, like full on stalker vibes. And by the end of the fucking show, after all the antics and all the crazy, she ends up falling in love with him. And the only thing I walked away from that show was, is this Stockholm Syndrome the anime? Like it's really hard for me to buy that this character who spent an entire show being stalked and harassed and literally telling this guy off, all of a sudden goes, actually I love him. No, that's not how that works at all. And then she asked him to like wait for her because she's a fucking 17-year-old high school and he's 27. Like, and I don't know, it really went down poorly for me. Like, it's not well written, and the comedy is built on some really kind of creepy things. And I know that it's like literally the full name of it translates to, is love really supposed to be this creepy? And I don't know if that makes it better. It just
No. Oh my god.
Straight episodes of just uncomfort, and I don't know. I have a really bad habit of like if I get like 5 episodes into something, I'm gonna finish it. And I've never watched something and gone, man, I really wish I had that time back. And
I don't know. I remember thinking that with Eighth Son.
Oh, I remember that. You were upset about that show.
I really hated that shit. But I just looked up the art or the title card for Koiki, however you said it.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember seeing anything about it for this season. So I feel like it probably did end up getting pushed down amongst everything else for this season. So
I gave it
probably where it needs to be.
I gave it a 2 out of 10 in our Discord's anime manga ratings, and everybody was like, is that the lowest score we've ever had? I was like, yes.
Damn.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. I literally will ruin the show and explain it exactly the way I saw it, so people that might end up accidentally wasting time watching it don't.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing a public service keeping people from watching the show, and there's not a lot of shows like that I run into, but it's definitely one of those ones.
Not all heroes wear capes, but some do post spoilers for the sake of the people.
So, and then I got something in the mail today. This is the last one I'll talk about, and because I'm about to wrap up Ayori Yaoshi, which I'll post a review and everything of. But I got my haul of back orders. Like I ordered a bunch of manga and a few DVDs and Blu-rays and things over the last year that, of course, are in back order because of varying things. One of those things was the collector's ultra edition of the Irresponsible Captain Tyler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I got that in today. It's a really nice little box set, and so my next show will be this. And this is a classic like 90s show, and it even came with this gigantic art book, hardbound art book.
I saw it there. Yeah, no, it looks nice.
And it's all in English with glossy pictures and all of it. Ooh.
That's hot. That's hot.
Yeah, it is hot, and it smells like new book. So that is next on the list for probably next week. I'll have put a little bit of time into Irresponsible Captain Tyler. Other than that, I picked up those new deluxe edition Berserks manga volumes, and I'm going to start getting into those. These things are tomes. They literally have the kind of silken string for the bookmark, and like it's all got inlay with like shiny red and stuff like that. And the actual brand of the sacrificial brand is actually inlaid in the pseudo leather binding, so it's kind of cool.
They look like you took some King James Version Bibles from somewhere, and you probably need to return them.
Except it's full of manga that's about like murdering demons and terrible bloody stuff. Like, yeah, it's the opposite of the King James Bible.
Very opposite.
Very much the opposite. So yeah, that is the extent of my my anime and kind of manga enjoyment at the moment. There's a lot more, but I ended up filling this whole damn podcast episode with information about what I'm trying to consume all at once.
Your ability to juggle, it always impresses me. I have to focus and hone in, or else I won't finish. I lose track.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've always taken on a lot of activities at once. So I learned how to enjoy little bits of a lot of things over a longer period of time. I think I'm going to end up talking to Daryl about it because he's about to do an episode of his YouTube channel, Gerald Talks Games, with about if you like to do like hyper focus on a game and do it in one full sitting, kind of like until you're done, or do you play like just one thing at a time, or do you play a bunch of stuff over a long period of time? And of course, I fall into that wheelhouse, and I'm actually interested to see how it turns out, mainly because I like the psychology aspect of his channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I juggle a lot. Oh man.
Speaking of juggling a lot, we'll use that as a turntable segue to spin us into our main topic of the day, which is fandoms and how we originally got into them, as are the wee lads that used to be us, our prior selves. So this is just kind of our anime fandoms or how we were introduced to them. I mean, everyone watches some shit as a kid, but really, how did you get into that? What about that was your shit? And so, I've got me a couple fandoms here to talk about, but really just kind of anime overall. How did you get into your animes?
Oh man. Back in the day, uh, I'd actually say it started with. Let's see here. I know I actually brought up a couple tabs so I could reference them. One of the earliest ones I remember was Robotech.
Hmm.
So Robotech, for those that don't know, is actually just multiple animes that they kind of took the footage from and then changed the characters' names and wrote their own script and universe and adapted it. And I didn't know that as a kid. I just saw a unique animation style that I had never seen before. I loved the transforming planes. Like I grew up in the military and around, especially the Air Force. So planes have always been something I'm really interested in. It's literally a cartoon to me at the time of transforming F-14 Tomcats flying around in space fighting alien monsters, and then you throw in all of a sudden these like this deep storyline about characters and how they're surviving in space, and kind of learning to live on a spaceship as it goes through space, and it was such a unique thing because like most of the cartoons I had encountered at that point had been pretty like Looney Tunes. Scooby Doo and Jetsons and all those just kind of fun, goofy, jokey shows. And I hadn't really seen anything that had like a serialized story. Like if you watched one episode and then the next episode, like this is continuing story. That was brand new to me, and I remember it. I remember it being on a friend's VHS. Like had it on VHS. I don't know if it was recorded off TV or what, but uh, I was a sucker for it. I loved it. I was over there every weekend. I was like, let's have a sleepover so we can watch more of this thing. And so that was really my first introduction into anime. As a matter of fact, is literally like the U.S. taking bits of anime and turning it into its own thing. So I thought that was a lot of fun. I also clearly loved Transformers along the way, and I know that that's technically anime as well, but it's the same thing. Like the U.S. took their own version of stuff and made it its own thing. So I guess that's kind of in there too. But that unique animation style, those like long-winded stories with character development and violence and more adult themes, I really enjoyed even when I was younger. I probably after that, good lord, Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon.
Hmm.
So there was this era where I think I was in elementary school, maybe early middle school. I still hadn't really figured out how to enjoy the fandom in general. And Dragon Ball Z is in there too, but primarily the ones I really, really remember are Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon because we would end up having to go to school with some friends of ours. Like we all walked together. It was a whole like children's safety sort of thing. Everybody meets up, and then they all go to school together in a group, and there's crossing guards, and it's a whole thing. And every time we would go over to the first kid's house, they had cable, which was something I just never had when I was younger. And they had the Sci-Fi Channel, and they had USA Network. And early in the morning, they would show Ronin Warriors and Sailor Moon, because Ronin Warriors was on Sci-Fi's early morning anime block, which also had Blue Seed, but I never got to watch it because we always had to leave before we got to Blue Seed. And then Sailor Moon was on the anime block for USA Network. I actually remember the little intercut, kind of like, all right, back to the action scenes before they started the show again. And this is the heavily edited DIC Sailor Moon. There's no blood. No one really died in that version. So
that's right.
I grew up with that. Like that's again, it was more of that like kind of more violent, more serious, and long form stories. And I remember that finally I got my hands on some money from like an allowance, and I went into a what was it, Software Etc. Maybe a Babbage's, I don't remember. And they had VHSs of Neon Genesis Evangelion and Cowboy Bebop. And then I chose Cowboy Bebop. That is, and then the rest is history. Then I started getting more VHS. There was a comic shop that rented them out, like fan subs on VHS. I think it was a place called Dragon's Lair. It might even still be around, but you could go rent fan subbed anime from them, like nondescript white cases, and you could rent them and go watch them at home. So I have a very fond memory of becoming an anime fan because of these random encounters at other people's houses, and then I had to find out for myself how to get more of that. So I really just stepped off like a whole step into a rabbit hole, tumbled down, and just it's been a way of life since then.
Man, wow!
So I got to tell you, Ronin Warriors is basically the translation of a series called Samurai Troopers, which I need to see if I still have somewhere in my storage, because it's something you would love. Imagine like mechanized samurais. Like they basically have power armor that they strap on to fight evil robotinized samurai. So I definitely have to get you to see it. It's old school for sure, so it may or may not. Well, you watch Gundam, like the original Gundam even, so you'd probably like it just fine. So.
I looked it up right now. It's kind of got some Saint Seiya vibes to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the same character designs.
Yeah. I would believe if they were from the same people. Oh, you can watch it free on Tubi right now.
Oh, really? It's on Tubi?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. Oh, it's on Amazon Prime Video, too.
Tubi has a bunch of random shit. So I don't know how they get it, but I don't. It's crazy how much stuff Tubi gets. But yeah, that's kind of how me and my brother started, because me and him did a lot of the same things together with a lot of our fandoms and how we got into it, especially with anime. We came home from school and we watched a lot of our shows after we did our homework, but our biggest ones being Dragon Ball Z and Transformers, and those were probably the biggest ones that led up to our branching paths of where anime would end up going. Because without Transformers, I probably wouldn't have had an interest in the Gundams or in the Megas XLRs that could have led me into more Gundams. And it's just what all could have been from there. But we just watched robots, and then we watched the fighting, and then we watched Pokemon and Digimon, and just all kind of other those monster collecting animes, and a lot of things too all showed on 4Kids, or I think it was 4Kids at the time, where they were one of the biggest components to bringing over, I guess you could say, foreign shows and putting dubs on it, and taking out the content they didn't want seen, like guns and Pokemon or blood or anything like that.
The infamous donuts.
Oh yes, the donuts in Pokemon. I think they did the same in Yu-Gi-Oh for something. I can't remember, but just ridiculous things.
Isn't that the source of the banished to the Shadow Realm thing?
I think that's part of it. Like
Because I think in the original series, like they died.
they died, but they in that one they went to the Shadow Realm for 4 kids, um, but that it played just such a pivotal part in the imagination that fostered us growing up and wanting more of that, because we never really grew up wanting to see more other shows. It's just, what else could you foster and feed imagination with? And anime was always that go-to for us, or I can at least say confidently for me, because I'm always looking for another new experience or another bigger thing. Like I don't really rewatch shows, and like if I do it's God Eater, because I'm going to sleep and I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to wake up and look at it. I don't watch God Eater. And so,
Oh boy! Wow.
but another trying to think of another one. Another big thing was Adult Swim, when they had all their animes. That was another big component for us growing up. Um, what is it? I know they actually had Gundams, Samurai Jack.
Oh
Um,
wow! Yeah.
I think that was one of the first cartoons that we started seeing that had straight up violence, but it didn't have blood. Because I mean, he was chopping people, and you know it was supposed to be blood, but
Mhm.
there wasn't. Um, so it was interesting seeing kind of all that in retrospective and kind of understanding it. But it's neat. I don't know, retrospectively. But
I
those,
mean, did you catch yours on Adult Swim or did you catch it on Toonami?
mm,
Like,
both.
'cause the original Toonami back in the day is a lot of where I got some of the, I guess, easier access to different types of shows. Like, I mean, like I never knew Zoids was a thing until Toonami was like, look,
Yeah.
Zoids, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I remember Toonami having Robotech for a while. They did Cowboy Bebop. Good lord, of course, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, like a lot of the early stuff. They did Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing was where I started uh,
Right.
Gundam, which inevitably, because giant effing robots fighting each other and political intrigue, like I was young enough at the point where like I sort of understood some of the things we were talking about, but I didn't understand all of it. So this led me down the rabbit hole of AOL Online, baby. We're looking at fan sites, like GeoCities and shit like that. I think Rurouni Kenshin was on there as
Yeah.
well at one point, and man, I was on the internet all the time and just trying to find out more about this stuff that existed. And there was actually like a whole Sailor Moon web ring. I remember back in the day where it'd be like a web ring of sites that were fan sites of Sailor Moon and trying to get it like the uncensored version and the rest of the seasons over to America. I mean, things like that. It was I just fond memories of the time,
Hmm.
and then I discovered Scanslations, which young me was like, it's on the internet. It must be legal, absolutely legal. And turns out that's not necessarily how it works.
But sure
But
enough, it wasn't.
it was not how it worked. But yeah, Toonami was a formative time, and boy oh boy, when they showed G Gundam, was I effing sold on Gundam from that point. So there was the political intrigue and moral quandaries and giant robots of Gundam Wing, but G Gundam was a different experience entirely. It was hot blooded, goofy looking mechs fighting each other, and then all of a sudden it morphs into this epic experience, like with Master Asia and the really crazy over the top lines and behavior. I loved it to death, and after that I was sold on all Gundam from that point on.
So I'm looking at a list of shows that aired across Toonami right now, and I'm kind of thinking maybe I didn't watch Adult Swim. I may have meant Toonami, because everything showed on Toonami, and I am blown away. Like, so they had all the Zoids, but they also had Yu Yu Hakusho. They had
Mm-hmm.
Zatch Bell. They had all 3 sets of the Transformers show on there. They had
Oh, that's right.
Bobobo, Bobobo. They, they had Mayor. It's incredible. All of these were pivotal shows that me and my brother were watching for anime. You got
Oh,
Duel Masters. in Cyborg 009.
Oh my gosh, freaking 08MS team was on there. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite Gundam series.
Oh, it's a great one.
Right after Unicorn, it's 8th MS team, and then the original Gundam.
I did not realize they showed this much shows on Toonami. I must have missed some stuff. I know that some of these are like the newer lineups over the last 8-9 years. But there's some in here that I remember being on an earlier version, and it's like iShield 21 was shown on Toonami, but they only showed like 5 episodes.
Yeah, there's some deep tracks on here. Deep tracks. They got Jackie Chan Adventures on here. That's probably my favorite anime of all time.
Oh my god,
XLR, man, good stuff.
What was that other show that they really showed? It was like a racing thing. It was like MXGP or something like that.
MXGP? That's not one I'm familiar with.
Yeah, it was kind of like an anime style show, and it was like, oh man,
Speed Racer.
It was kind of like Speed Racer, but it was definitely a very anime style.
Oh, is it the one with the theme song, Deja Vu? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Let's see here, because these are the ones
that one goes so hard. I don't even know what that. I haven't even seen that show. That song, I bumped that.
Oh, man, I'm gonna find this again. I really. Oh, here it is. It was an Immortal Grand Prix. It was a 5-part series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Immortal. I like how that sounds.
Yeah, it was shortened to IGPX. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that name, but since I didn't know what it stood for, I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was kind of like when they were doing a little more of the Western version of anime, when Toonami was kind of like at its peak and was really kind of trying some things, and I really liked that too. I mean, the fact that Zoids has pretty much been erased from the world after Toonami is kind of disappointing. Like, there's been like little trickles of information, like, oh, this still exists. There might be something out there. There might be a toy or a model. But like, I'm like, bring back that fucking show. It was actually pretty damn good.
So
I remember enjoying it.
They have a show out right now.
Really?
Yeah, Zoids Wild Blast, I think. But it's nonsense. It is not good. I got like halfway through it because I was like, they're bringing back Zoids. Yes, but it's not good. It's a really weird off-brand Pokemon kind of show, and it's like, so he's trying to befriend his Zoid, and all it is like a big badass Pikachu, and there's like a bad Team Rocket group where it's a Jessie, and a Meowth character, and it's horrid. And then they tease the game that's just based off the show, and I was like, man, they could do so much more with this franchise, but it's all dead in the water.
It's depends who you got working on it. Also, apparently we missed it, but Daryl gave us some advice in the Discord. He said, "Don't suck."
Oh yeah, I suck at Guilty Gear, but it's okay. I don't suck at Mario Kart.
I swear to God, you're just going to take that one home whenever we have this tournament, so I'm not too worried about it.
I'm going to have to.
Oh, yeah. I remember racing you so much, and I was like, he can't be that good. Like, how can he always win? The carts only go so fast. But every time I lost, and I feel like I'm pretty good at the game. It's so frustrating.
The key is drifting. You can't stop drifting.
I'm not terrible at drifting, but apparently you're just way better at it than I am. That's absolute trash. That's okay. I'll keep kicking your ass in Guilty Gear.
So my third favorite anime is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and I've watched it backwards and forwards 3 times.
Look, I can agree with that assessment. Absolutely agree 100% that Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift is an anime. Just watch it. Watch it. Watch all the It's got catchy music at the right time. You got over-the-top characters that do stupid stuff all the time. The romance makes no sense whatsoever. There's clearly a bad guy that is clearly a bad guy. Like, he walks on the scene, and you're like, that's the bad guy. There's like that kind of like explosive loss, and then, the wrap-up. And then I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, there's a catchy song to end it, too. It's basically an anime.
It is. Wow. When you put it that way, I think I'm going to email Vin Diesel right now, and I'm going to see if I can get a 5-parter done by Mappa and get
Look,
this made as soon as possible.
you could argue that the entire Fast and Furious series is anime at its core. Remember, friendship power, nakama power, as they call it. Like, if we believe in the power of friendship, we can accomplish anything. And they got the family. The
Wow.
family together can accomplish anything.
You're not.
Like, I'm not wrong, am I?
It's disgusting, but you're not wrong.
And that's the thing is like the action gets more and more over the top as the friendship power increases. You get more cast members, and then all of a sudden someone's like driving a car on a submarine, or driving from one skyscraper to the next. Like, it really hits some anime highs. Like, am I ruining this for you?
Yeah, but I mean, so if it was comparable to an anime, would it have to be Dragon Ball Z, or would they have to be something else?
I feel like it's a fairy tale kind of thing. Like, I feel if I had to compare it, it would be fairy tale, because it's very much about, there's a lot of different, unique people who are part of the same guild, family, whatever, and every time they have to take on a new group of bad guys, they either, overcome all odds and then absorb a couple members of the bad guys to become part of their family, and then they encounter a new challenge. And like, literally read fairy tale, and it literally is that from like beginning to end. Like, every time it's new, it absorbs and stuff. It's kind of wild.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, no. Back on topic to a degree. Sorry, that's such a weird thought.
What a horrible rabbit hole. That was bad.
I'm sure everyone will enjoy me ruining the Fast and the Furious movies or anime. I can't figure out which one I ruined the worst.
There's no difference at this point.
But so we definitely established like where we started anime wise, and I really think that's kind of like where we stand. Was there any other series that kind of like you remember like literally influencing you in a huge way? Like, we both talked about where we started, but is there a moment in your fandom that kind of changed it to be a little deeper, like a little more intense?
When I got into Naruto, that was a pivotal moment in my anime career, I guess you could say. So I hated Naruto whenever it first came out, because all the trailers that came out, it was always like, oh yeah, look at this ninja, and like he would do his little jutsus and he turned into the girl, or he would do his little harem jutsu, and I was like, this is so stupid. Is this his power? I hate this so much. And then finally, I think I was renting a game, or I just bought one of the games and I played it. Played through the story, and I played through like the Haku arc and up to the Gara arc, and I was like, whoa, this is what's going on here. I am missing out. And so, because I didn't get to start off with Dragon Ball Z from the beginning. That wasn't a series of my era. So Naruto got to be something I could start off with fresh and kind of grow up with. And so after I had that moment, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to be missing out on something. Me and my brother started grabbing Naruto mangas from our local Walmart. And that was kind of our first, we got to start collecting these and reading and be current. And so we started grabbing the mangas. We would start checking our local library, and we were watching stuff. We were seeing what was going on and playing games. I remember playing Uzumaki Chronicles on the PlayStation 2, and it was the worst game I've ever played. It was horrible. And I
think I remember you talking about it a little bit in the Discord.
I probably did. It was made by people who I think didn't have rights to Naruto, because they referenced Naruto things and they wouldn't say what it was. So
wow.
Or they just released it at a time where the Western audience wasn't caught up. So like the Rasengan, they called it a power ball, but it was clearly a Rasengan. And so you could do your power ball move, but that was a Rasengan.
Oh my god.
I think Shadow Clone was called something different. It was really off-branded.
That is weird. That's a very off-brand, but on the front of it has the brand on it. Like, that's weird. That's a weird thing to do. Like, if you have the name on it and you have the character designs and everything, like, why can't you use the actual names? Where they try, like, the only thing I can think is like somebody in the PR department was like, we can't use these weird foreign words. We have to try to make it sound like something you would see on a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, that's because that's the thing. It's like there was a period there where we started getting more anime, we started getting more stuff in the mainstream. Like the idea of manga in the library, I love that idea, but it was never available when I was younger. Like, that was not a thing that had happened. Like my library never had manga. So when it was something that became a regular thing, I was super happy for anybody that was going to be a fan of this stuff because there's some good stories and have it in the library. It doesn't matter if it's a comic or not. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I've lost track of myself. What was I saying before that?
About the books in the library?
Before the library thing, I had a point and I've lost it.
We were talking about Naruto off-brand. I was just kind of going off that.
Yeah.
And then Shippuden happened, and I started appreciating story overall in anime. And just kind of in general, I started appreciating more. It wasn't just, okay, I read this, I'm done. It's, whoa. Sasuke really did that to him. He's really upset about this. Oh my god, they killed Gaara. Oh my god, what are they going to do next? And like, I really started becoming invested, and it was just a really big moment for me anime wise.
I remember what I was going to say, and that's on point with the time frame. Shippuden definitely changed a lot of people from casual Naruto viewers to I'm invested. And you had to be invested. That's a 600 episode long series, and that wasn't even the beginning of it. Like that wasn't beginning to end. That was like from the midpoint of the story. Like the original Naruto series ran for quite a while and covered the first few arcs all the way until Sasuke and Naruto, have their big falling out. And then there's 600 more fucking episodes. Like that's a lot of investment. But
all because of the filler. It was horrible. I remember one time, I think I was at my uncle's house, and Naruto's on, and he was just going through the channels. I was like, oh, it's Naruto. And he was like, oh, you want to watch it? And he put on the episode, and I started watching it for like a couple seconds. And I was like, no, we don't have to watch this. And he was like, you're sure? I was like, this isn't real. This isn't a real episode.
This is a filler episode.
And this is filler. Man. We don't have to watch this. It's okay. He's like, oh, okay.
That's fantastic. I'm not a fan of filler episodes either because I got an early experience with Dragon Ball Z when I was younger. Dragon Ball Z didn't go past a certain point in the Frieza saga for a lot of years. They didn't have the license for it. The original broadcast of Dragon Ball Z was not Funimation. It was another company, and they only had the license for like basically the Raditz battle, the Saiyans, and the first like half all the way up until they actually start the Frieza battle, and then it stopped, and they would start the series over again. And it wasn't until I actually got past it. Like I was like, well, we're never gonna get past this point. So I moved on to other shows.
Yeah.
At that point. So that's actually, this is gonna blow your mind. It's really embarrassing to admit. I know the storyline, but I've never watched the episodes where they actually fight and Cell and Boo and all of that. Like I know the storylines for various reasons, like video games and stuff, but I never watched it. It didn't help that it also when I did try to watch it again, it was like 4 episodes of Goku screaming while charging up a power bomb. Like
they got Dragon Ball Kai now.
I know they do. But the long version was on sale, man. I have 9 seasons of this shit.
But now you can watch. You have the Blu-ray set. You can. Watch
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I will. I promise.
Come on, man. Come on.
I promise I'll watch it. But yeah, they they didn't have that for the longest time, and I remember that being a big deal. I was sad about it. I'd say my big change is probably the introduction of the internet and just being able to access series I never could. Yeah. I learned a lot about the internet and technology around the same time because a lot of stuff would be in IRC channels and news groups and stuff. These are all things that people still use occasionally, but they were regularly used in fandom when I was younger. IRC groups, especially internet relay chat, I believe is what it translates to, because that's where fans would actually talk about the series, and you could basically get files of stuff that had been translated via fans, and so I was really involved in that. I actually got involved with this cancellation group at one point they were scanslating. This is where I discovered Love Hina, which is honestly, like going back and reading again, I have some nostalgia vibes, but it's not nearly as good as I remember. But I also was exposed to it for the first time ever, anything like that, like a harem series.
Mhm.
Like I feel like Love Hina is like one of the first harem series out there, besides Tenchi, because Tenchi's. I remember watching that show too. Good lord, man, dredging up the memories with this
Yeah,
topic.
deep cuts only.
Yeah. I guess. Oh, and the thought I was going to finish from earlier, absolutely, is there was this weird transition period where anime was still being treated like cartoons and could be sold like cartoons, and like so you had things like One Piece and Naruto and some other shows that they really tried to reformat into Saturday morning cartoons. Like this is why you had the One Piece edits with 4 kids where Sanji had a lollipop instead of a cigarette. It had a goofy opening song, and things of that nature. Like it ended up on like the Fox Kids block or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And I think they even had like a weird anime with like dinosaur kids or something like that. I'm trying to remember some old stuff. And
man, I know what you're talking about.
Like you do that, like it's there. The image is there.
It is.
But
it's probably sealed away for a reason. I probably need this memory.
But eventually and that's the thing is they renamed a lot of stuff. They took a lot of things out. They assumed if we turn this like into a cartoon, we'll make a lot of money off of it. And it just turned out that anime just was going to be popular one way or another.
Yeah.
It grew from multiple things, like having manga in the library, like I was talking about. You could rent actual DVD that was produced and sold as anime. So that's when things changed. And then you get into the streaming stuff, and then it's just all. We got so many shows. Like I remember finding anime shows was so hard and few and far between back in the day, and now we just have everything. We get shows that I never thought we would ever get. We have shows that are basically porn. And then we were like, yeah, we're on board for it. We'll license it. Bring it on. I love the fact that there are some terrible shows that got licensed and shown all the way through, but like only 4 episodes of interspecies reviewers got shown before apparently it outraged enough people for that Fanimation to be like, nah, our bad. We didn't mean to show that. But you have things like Redo of Healer, which is just
I've heard that's a raunchy one. That's supposed to be pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't know how like people were still outraged by it, but like they didn't take it off. I think you could still watch it. So that's weird. Like the rules don't make sense anymore. We just get everything, and we've gotten some shows that are more for people who like a mobile game in Japan that we don't even have. Like Million Arthur. Million Arthur got an anime, but it's an anime based off of a mobile game. Grand Blue Fantasy. Huh?
Azure Lane.
Oh yeah, Azure Lane. But you actually can play Azure Lane here in America now.
Oh yeah.
But like things like Grand Blue Fantasy, for instance. Grand Blue Fantasy, we got the fighting game, and we got the anime, but we don't have the mobile game. And I'm still waiting on that relink, that like actual full action RPG version of Grand Blue Fantasy. Please finish it. But speaking of video games, like, do you feel like talking a little bit about your earliest video game memory?
So, it's either one of 2 instances where I got a Game Boy and I got Link's Awakening or Pokemon Yellow from.
Yes, you mentioned this in our Pokemon retrospective.
Or it's when my dad got the PlayStation and my dad would play things like Grand Theft Auto 3 or Devil May Cry or Need for Speed. And those were kind of my 3 things I'd watch. Like if dad was playing the PlayStation, I was there next to him. And like I'd be like, whoa, look at you do it, wow. And for the most part, now if he was playing Grand Theft Auto 3 and nothing was really going on, I could be in the room. But if it was like, maybe some story stuff happening, I had to leave. I didn't get to stay around for that. But for the most part, I got to hang around for like the Need for Speeds and Devil May Cries. And
that's pretty cool.
There was one game me and him actually raced on when I was a kid called oh, it's a Capcom night game for the PS2. Um, you play as a knight. It's supposed to be like a soul successor to the Ghosts and Goblins games.
What is that, Maximo?
Maximo, that's it. It's Maximo. So me and him both played Maximo, and I was like, I bet you I could beat it before you. And he was like, no, you can't. And I did. I actually worked through and beat it before.
Really? Kudos.
But I mean, he's a working man. You know, I was a little shit.
You had all the time in the world at the time.
Yeah.
Now you're a working man, and
now
you have pets and babies. Yeah. Now you can't play as many games as you.
Now, man, I'm stuck to like 2 games, one on my DS and one on my computer. But so that, I think those are my first like earliest ones of just stuff I could beat and like play around with. But for the most part, it's either watching Dad on that PlayStation, or when I got my Game Boy and just trying to play Pokemon, because I couldn't really read. Like Pokemon taught me reading, and so it was fun.
That's fantastic. I'm definitely older than you. None of my parents could play a video game. I actually have a very famous memory in my own head canon, where I remember this isn't my earliest memory of video games, but it's a great memory. My mother, like, we were playing Super Mario Brothers, and my mom was like, "Oh, can I try?" And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, give it a go." And she ran to the right just fine. Mm-hmm. She knew how to use the jump button, but every time she came to the first pit, like the timing of it, she could not manage it. She just run straight off into the pit, over and over and over. I don't think I've seen that little woman get so mad, but a few more times in my life. But it pissed her off really bad, and I remember that profoundly, because I was like, "Mom, you just had to hit the button when you get towards the edge," and she'd be like, "Okay," and she's just getting angry and angry, and you see her, you hear click, like when she's trying to hit the button, and it's every time not hard enough, not holding it, like she hit it and then like only hold it long enough to fall into the hole. She was so upset at the end of it. I laugh about it now, but I felt so bad for her as a little kid. I was like, "Mom, just let me do it.
You're wasting my life, so come on."
But I'd say my earliest video game memory, and this is such a weird thing because it's a very tactile experience. My grandparents lived in Seguin, which is funny enough, I'm actually near now, and I remember going over there for a family visit, and we always played outside and stuff like that. But one day, it was early in the morning, because they always wake up so fucking early in the morning, and kudos to them. Like 5:30 in the morning, my grandma's cooking breakfast every time, and I could never sleep through it. But we decided to get nosy, and they had these really cool kind of like lamp tables, and you could open the door, and it opened like an arm. Like the whole front of it just opened like an arm. It didn't have like an individual door. It's like, so imagine like panel to the left, panel center, panel to right. You would open the whole thing, and all 3 panels would open like this sliding thing. And we found what eventually, I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was an Intellivision.
Oh.
And we're talking like old school hookups. Like it had the metal ring so you could put it on the thing in the back of the TV. And I remember that the remote for it had multiple buttons, and it had this kind of like plastic over like these bumps, and it'd crinkle when you try to hit more than one button or move. And it had like a little dial. And I remember managing to talk my grandfather into hooking it up. I don't even know why he had it. He was not a gamer. Maybe they got it for one of their kids at one point when they were younger, or who knows? I don't know where it came from. He didn't apparently either. And we hooked up, and I remember playing Rally X, and I was effing terrible at it. But I had so much fun, like turning the dials, like hitting the buttons and the crinkles, and it was this new experience for me because like I had grown up in Texas, and everything we did was outdoors, and climbing into canyons and messing with animals and running face first into black widow spiders and learning that arachnophobia is a thing you can give yourself.
That sounds better.
Yeah, no, video games instantly became a much better experience. And then the introduction of, the Nintendo became a thing. And I had such a great experience with like the Intellivision, because I would start to play it every time we go over to my grandparents, in all of its blocky glory. And I remember my mom bought us, my brother and I, a Nintendo, and she said, "Be sure to share." And I promptly made my brother a permanent player too, and
As you should.
I poured everything into that system, and I only learned more and more and more. Like, and this is also the era of arcades, so I hadn't quite figured out that there's a little bit of difference, but this is how they got me. I would go to the arcade and play Turtles in Time, and I remember they came out with the Ninja Turtles the arcade game, and they literally put that on the box. And I remember that was a Christmas present I had to have because I played it at the arcade, and this is the arcade game. It wasn't exactly the arcade game, but it was kind of like it. But then it was a fun experience, and I remember that's when I learned a little bit about maybe try to learn a little bit more about before you ask for the expensive Christmas present to be the thing that you assume it is. But yeah, then it was just down the rabbit hole. Like SNES, I played it at a friend's house, and I think this is where I really set up. I never have been an early adopter of a game system ever.
Yeah.
I think it's because even when I was younger, I always played somebody else's system that was newer. Like somebody bought the system, and I would go over their house to have a sleepover, and I'd play Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo or PlayStation. I never I was always an older version of like we never got it from the get go, and we bought it later, and usually like a Sam's Club. I think my first Sega Genesis we got from a Sam's Club, along with it was in a cardboard box, and it had two controllers, the Sega Genesis, Sonic the Hedgehog. There was Kid Chameleon, huh?
Sonic and Golden Axe.
Not Golden Axe actually. It was Kid Chameleon, and then there's this Disney game on the Sega. I don't know if anybody remembers it. Oh god, well, I don't remember the official name, but it was Donald Duck was a explorer, and he had a plunger gun. And what the hell was that called?
It wasn't DuckTales?
No. I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Okay. Because I know they have there's quite a few games that came out then for Disney. They had a lot of their movie games then. The Lion King and Aladdin, DuckTales, and something else I feel like came out at that era for Disney and their main people.
This game was called Quackshot, starring Donald Duck.
Of course it was. Of course it was called Quackshot.
But yeah, those were my earliest memories of video games. I just got into it from that point on. I mean, I would draw Mario and Sonic the Hedgehog. When I found out you could go through a loop-de-loop in this video game, I was sold immediately. And that's all it was. Like, that's not even a big part of the game. It's not even really what the game is about. It's in the first stage, and that's it. But I got me to buy the game, so I played a lot of different series, and I don't know. I just once I was in it, I was hooked, and I never put it down. So whenever apparently I get into a fandom, I don't ever let it go.
I think that's pretty much how I am. I'm normally pretty loyal, and I stick with it for a good while.
I think I'm a little more nuanced with it. Like when I was younger, I would watch, read, play anything I could put my hands on. But nowadays, I'm a little more like I'm like you at this point, where it's like if it's not catching me, we're done. I don't have all the time in the world to watch every series and play every game. So
no, absolutely, there will be someone else to do that. I'll stick with what I know I enjoy. There's millions of fish in the sea.
Absolutely,
someone else to watch all this isekai. That ain't me.
Oh god, so much. I remember the name of the isekai show that I put down, and that was Isekai Cheat Magician, which was so mediocre it upset me.
It looks it. I remember seeing that on my Verve, and it just looks horrible.
It does. There's no depth to it, and it's just, and the animation isn't even that great. Like sometimes you can get a really cool action scene or something out of it. It's all mediocre, and I remember that series being like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that sucks. I miss Konosuba.
Have you started watching Combatants Will Be Dispatched?
No, I haven't started that yet.
Yeah, it's on Funimation, so you should check it out.
I will. I think it's on my list there, so I need to. But,
wow, what a walk down memory lane!
Yeah, I feel like this is way more nostalgia based than it was talking about fandoms.
I know.
But that's part of the gig is
Oh
just
yeah.
you start looking back and you start realizing there's way more back there than you realize.
Oh, seriously, like you made me. I pulled up the list of shows from Toonami, and I was like flabbergasted at the things I forgot, and then all of a sudden came rushing back to me like a flood of nostalgia and memories, and oh boy.
I'm probably going to look at that list here in a bit and just kind of mark some off. I missed Boba Bo. That was
I'm
a
gonna
good show.
add it to the queue, if you will.
I can't. That's the thing. You can only buy that one. You can't stream it anywhere. It's so sad.
Yeah, you have to buy the Blu-ray because I think Discotech got the rights, and they released the whole series as SD on Blu-ray. So
Mm,
you can actually buy the whole series on like one Blu-ray. So
yeah. Well, Steven, with that, I think that's a wrap on
oh,
Fandoms.
absolutely, we've had a lot of fun tonight, and I think we're gonna have some more fun as we continue to deep dive into all of our nerdy hobbies. Since you now know how the origin started.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The birth of your host here. Well, all right. With that, guys, if you want to leave us a review or a commentary on any of your supporting sites that you listen to podcasts on, whether that be Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, toilet.com, wherever you listen at, go ahead and feel free. You can hit us up on Twitter at let me see, at SENKOU podcast.com, Senko podcast. Let us know what you think, and we will talk to you guys later. Good night.
Night.